Okay, I'm live. So before I start this video, why I'm scared of one of the candidates that's running for president, please read the disclaimer. The disclaimer states that I have suffered from PTSD and I also have paranoia based on real life experiences. Excuse me. While you think of that, just give me 1 second. Okay. So, what paranoids me about Vivek, I guess that's his name. Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna show you why I'm paranoid about it. Vivek Ramaswamy. Um, this has nothing to do with anything, out there crazy. This is not trying to put anybody down or anything like that. Like I said, this is based on real life experiences that I've been through. Read the disclaimer, it's in the description box. So, the first thing is the fact that his name, most of it is in his name. I break down names and I see things in names. I can tell some things automatically just from a person's name. Some names I believe are stage names, and some names, I believe are real names. This name, I'd rather not give my opinion about how I feel about it because I'm not sure and I don't want to be rude, but I'll tell you why I'm paranoid, and it does have to do with the name. So I had some teachers when I went to college, and I have the papers right here. I'm going to try not to show too much of the information, but let's see if you can see, like right here. One of my teachers, if you can see right there, there's a V and an I. That was one class that I took, okay? That was a female. This is a totally different teacher. If you can see right here, it's a VIVI. So this is the second teacher with that name, and here's the third teacher. I'm not going to show their last name too much, but this is that teacher. And you can see that these are syllabuses. These are all classes that I took when I was going to school, and they all have the name V in it. They were all actually of Asian descent, and I did experience some strange things with a couple of these teachers. And then the last name, his name is Ramaswamy. I own one of these vehicles. I own a Ram. So that's one thing that kind of goes through in my mind. Now, the first teacher, um, there was a lot of weird incidences during finals. The lights went out. There was some other things like things coming up stolen, my rulers, like sweaters that I like. My keys came up stolen in her class, and she was right by my bag when I went to the restroom. And when I came back, she was still by my bag. She hadn't moved on, and nobody will say what happened to my keys to this day. And I believe she stole my keys. She took my keys. This teacher, this is a male. Viet, I'm not gonna say their last name. Um, I finished my one of my assignments ahead of everybody. I was going at a fast pace. He offered to help me with one of the products, or I'll just say one of the garments that I had made. And I said, okay, I didn't understand why he wanted to help me, but I'm like, okay, maybe because I'm doing so good. So he gets my stuff and starts to iron it for me. And then the next thing he does is he digs in his nose and he puts his nostril belongings on my garment. And I was totally disgusted. And one side of me wanted to say, hey, you need to take my stuff to the cleaners. What you did was disgusting. And I can show the whole class, or you can show them what you just put on my jacket that I made. And I was too embarrassed and I wasn't strong enough at the time. And so I just literally ignored it, but I felt disgusted and I went home and I washed it on my own. But it gives me like a bad feeling every time I see it. And I did really good on that. Now this teacher, she wasn't too bad. The VV, the only thing is I hated her 10 question test because you don't get a chance to make a C. Because 10 question is 100, 90, 80, 70. That's a D. Where's the C at? So you either make a B or a D. There's no C in between. That's the problem with the 10 question test. But nobody in class at the time understood that. And yeah, except for me. But she understood exactly what I was saying because she's a teacher and she should have that knowledge. So that kind of paranoids me about it. And let me tell you a story also that recently happened. I bought a new little computer, and it was a man from like the Middle East or whatever. He helped me. He seemed very nice. I said, "Where can I get a computer like this?" Because they were all sold out. And he told me to go to one place that actually didn't have it. And as I was passing down the street, it had the name Ram something in the, on one of the big signs. I had never seen it. And I said, wow, that's amazing. And I went all the way to that store and they said they didn't have it. And I said, he made me go all that way to find out there was one much closer that did have it. And so I was like, well, it must have been a sign that he wanted to show me that this guy's name is almost on a sign in the direction that I was going. So I have that paranoia, and then the fact that he said that everybody on the stage was paid for and bought, that completely terrorized me because I'm wondering who paid for them and bought them. Was it him? Because a lot of people coming from other places are having money and they're starting to be in charge and running a lot of things. So my question is, how do you know that they're paid and bought for, or why would you say that? I would like for that person to elaborate on that. And also, it makes me very scared and insecure because it's like if you feel that most of those people are like just cows. It kind of sounds like cows, right? You're like paid for and bought. That sounds like slave talk to me, you know? If I'm on stage and I'm trying to be a candidate, just like anybody else, and you tell me that I'm paid for and bought, that sounds to me like you're saying that I'm a slave because you can't pay for me and you can't buy me because I'm not property. So why would you say that? Why would you even make that analogy, that metaphor? Why would you compare a person to anything like that? So that kind of, creeps me out. I don't want to have a president that's going to be thinking that I'm just some cow or mule that's paid for or bought for. And a part of the reason why, in my first videos that I kind of put some of them on private is because I said I had this vision that something along some of those things that he was saying was at stake. And so I didn't like that. And the fact that a lot of the teachers that I dealt with that did me wrong, their name starts with VI. And the fact that I just made a video talking about how they didn't want me to get my vehicle, which is a Ram. That's why I have this little booklet. I wouldn't have it. The pages are out, but I have the rest of it. So I think sometimes people play like word games and mind games, and I think that it can get to really high levels up in the pyramid. And it's something that can have a really big impact on you for the rest of your life or for at least 4 years. And it's like how far would people go to do this wordplay and harass you? That's what goes on in my mind because that's how I think. I'm not saying that any of that is necessarily true. I didn't watch all of the debate, but I did watch that part, and I think that these people are smart enough, and he's smart enough to know how to play the game. I think that he knows that a lot of people are going for Donald Trump. People saw that with Kamala and the border and stuff like that. People are kind of going for Donald Trump. Also, Candy, what's that girl named? Candace Owens. She flipped. She went from one side, from Democrat to Republic. She knew the game. She decided she was going to go for Trump. My thing about Candace Owens is the fact that How can you be about black power and black this and black that, but then at the end of the day say that Floyd decided it was his fault and what happened to him was his fault when he literally sat there and got murdered and somebody put their knee on his neck and looked away as they were applying pressure to his neck. All he said was that he was having a panic attack, which most people get when they're in a police car, especially if the AC's not on and the window's not down and you're not being treated therapeutically. It's kind of normal for a person to say, "Hey, can I get some fresh air? I can't breathe," and then to be brought down to the ground and suffocated, and then having to live with the trauma of everybody making shirts that say, "I can't breathe," doesn't make it any better. So people are learning how to play the game, be political, just look at it as a debate, as Kamala says, and just do whatever it takes to win you over. That does not necessarily mean that they're really about anything that you're about as far as the party, Republican or Democrat. Now it's just, I want to win. I know what to say, and the people are going to buy it, right? Smoke weed, get high every day, give you a stimulus check, make sure that I upgrade the middle class, um, make sure that people have Medicare and they're retiring with a good plan. Anything that ensures the people that I'm going to give them more money and that I'm going to be multicultural and make sure that I support diversity, that means that I'm going to win. And whoever is getting the heads up, I'm going to kind of gear towards them, especially when people start finding out the truth about things and getting suspicious about things. Then I'm going to make sure that I piggyback on who looks like the better candidate. And if that candidate doesn't win, so many people like them, then they're going to pick me because I kind of piggybacked and cloaked myself into that same type of essence and kind of made people believe that I was similar to that person. So that's going to give me a better chance to win. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. And they're playing their cards, intelligently. And you just have to be careful even about the intelligent people because sometimes intelligence doesn't mean that you necessarily have the heart. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to create policies that are for the people. This is a money game, this is a power game, and you're talking about trying to get somebody who can hold a lot of power and also be fair to the people, hold a lot of power and be disciplined with that power and use that power correctly. People have a hard time doing that on an everyday job. So now we're talking about presidency. So anyway, but that's some of the reasons that scare me about that person. With Biden, it's that laugh. Maybe it was a nervous laugh when he said when he kind of joked about Donald Trump being paranoid about the pandemic and just said, "Go ahead and let everybody come over here. When I'm president, I'm going to open up all the doors, all the walls, and if people get sick, they get sick." Another thing about um, Vivek Ramaswamy, I think, he's a part of like the medical field. So my question to him is, being a part of the medical field, are you interested in the pandemics? Because I fear that people who are a part of the medical field have some type of interest or payoff associated with the medical field, whereas pandemics would actually benefit them and somehow make them money. I don't know exactly how that works, but that's one of the paranoias that I have. I did a little research on him and it said that he had something to do with pharmaceuticals. And I know that a lot of people were paranoid about what's that dude's name? The rich dude with the glasses, nerdy looking. I don't know, trying to get some type of patent on medication or whatever he was doing, and everybody was saying he's trying to get a big payoff. Well, I guess I kind of feel that same situation with anybody who works in the pharmaceuticals when it comes to this pandemic thing. My concern is there's another pandemic going to happen. I'm tired of the pandemics. I feel like this is some type of excuse for keeping people doing things to people, people making money in weird ways. I don't know. It's just my opinion. So I showed you the three names of all these teachers that I had whose names started with VI, and two of them are pronounced the same, Vivi, but they're spelled different, and then a man named Viet. And then I also showed you how I own a Dodge Ram and how that is associated with my paranoia about Vivek. Um, Ramaswamy becoming president, and the fact that he said that everybody on stage was owned and bought like a cow or some type of slave, and that my concern is that he's piggybacking off of Donald Trump, that he's using his ego, emotional senses toward the people, trends, people that support Donald Trump, kind of piggybacking off of that, so that people may fall weak to the fact that, oh, he supports Trump, he must be a cool guy. I don't know. All I'm saying is you need to do your own research and don't go off of people that are piggybacking off of someone. I'm going to tell you something about piggybacking off of people. There's been a lot of times in life where I've seen a beautiful female, and I felt like being nice, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to give her a compliment. Hey, your hair looks really pretty today," or, "Oh, I love this about you," or whatever like that. And then they say, "Oh," and then you know what they do? They treat me like crap after that. And you know what I say? I should have never gave your ass no damn compliment, because now you acting like you all that, and you acting like you better than me after I just put a little gas in your tank and made you feel better. Now you're bringing me down. So yeah, piggybacking off of people doesn't necessarily mean that, it's just people playing the game. People say that they love you and they care about you, and then they get the benefits, and then they might hate you after that. Oh, I got what I need. I used you for the cause, comrades, confidence, and constituents. They're all different things. So that's all I really have to say. I feel much better that I got that paranoia out, because if I don't, I'm going to be talking about it for the next 4 years if that person actually gets picked. So I'm glad I said it. And no, I don't want any president who thinks that all the other candidates are cows on the stage and paid for and bought. I feel very offended as a Black African American person that perhaps you may look at me like I'm somebody that needs to be picking cotton in the field, and not because I own a manufacturing business, but because I'm paid for and bought, which God already paid the price for me. So can't nobody buy or sell me. And that's all I have to say. Hopefully, we make the right decision. Bye bye.